The clique of ignorant, useless, but loud Democrat leaders known as the Squad just lost their second member. If you're not familiar with who I'm talking about, here's a great reminder of the hypocritical and narcissistic member in question.
I have private security because my body is worth being on this planet right now. I have private security because the white supremacist, racist narrative that they drive into this country, the fact that they don't care that this black woman that has put her life on the line, they can't match my energy, first of all. This black woman who puts her life on the line, they don't care that I could be taken out of here. They actually probably are okay with that. But this is the thing. I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives.
So yeah, I actually feel stupider from listening to that. But she's out of there. But that, I mean, did you hear what she said? Right? This woman, first of all, there was some controversy and I believe some allegations and maybe even some trials or some investigations or something into it. I can't remember the full depth of it. Not that it matters anymore, really. But she was paying a security team, which ended up going to like a boyfriend that was on a security team, which ended up becoming the boyfriend on the security team and husband, whatever. And it was like money laundering, essentially. I'm saying that was the allegations. It kind of sounds like it. But she's out here spending, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on private security, while also at the same time, if you heard her say we have to defund the police so we can protect these people. I don't think that's the way it works. As we see right now, what's happening in California, in New York, in Illinois, Minnesota, Seattle, so many places where you're seeing a reduction in police officers, seeing a sharp increase in crime. So that's probably part of the reason she got bumped out of there. Another one is I love that they meaning the Democrats, will use that race and gender and all that. I just lost the word. But the identity politics, there we go. They will use that identity politics to boost themselves and push themselves along. And when conservatives call it out, conservatives are then the racist, the sexist, the whatever. But she kept going on about being the strong black woman and white racist and whatever out to get her. And, I hate all that. I hate every time that comes out of someone's mouth, from the left, from the right, black, white. I hate it. It's so divisive. You've heard me so many times speak against DEI in film, especially because you guys know I'm a filmmaker. If you've been watching, you know this. I've talked about it a few times. I hate what we're doing. I love where we were in the 90s and early 2000s, where your top actors and actresses and musical artists, politicians, there was such a blend of everything. Fashion was at its peak, or last renaissance rather. Fashion, art, film, just anything and everything. And I didn't see any issues with racism back there. Were there some? Sure. I'm sure there's always going to be, as long as you have people that look different, sound different, walk different, talk different, whatever. We're always going to find ways to divide us and be divisive. It's always going to be the case. But to continue to feed into it in 2024 is ridiculous. When we came out of the late 90s, early 2000s, and we didn't have all this crap. So I hate that it keeps stirring up. You guys have heard me so many times mention this. It just irks me so bad that we keep trying to peddle this divisiveness, passive divisiveness, victimhood divisiveness. Anyways, I got to move on from her little monologue there because she's an idiot. But she lost. She lost her seat. Right here, the independent. Cori Bush becomes the second squad member to lose her primary as she's ousted from Missouri seat. Pro-Israel groups spent millions to oppose Bush, ousting her from her seat just weeks after fellow squad member Jamal Bowman also lost his primary race. This is big, but this isn't the only thing. And I know they're going to try to swing it that way. We're going to read a little bit of this article. In fact, if it's not that long, we may read the whole thing. But pro-Israel groups, the PAC that, supports a lot of folks. They even mentioned it in here, I believe. They did oppose CORI Bush and supported the opposition to CORI Bush because she's so pro-Palestine and they wanted to support somebody else. But I guarantee it's not just that. Look at where she stood on politics. Look at where she stood on effectiveness. I only showed that one clip, and I'm only going to show that one clip, but God, go listen to her talk about how the rich need to pay their fair share, or go listen to her on the House floor. She is an idiot. She's an idiot. To be fair, most of the squad is. I'm just kidding. All of them are. All right, let's keep going. Democratic Representative CORI Bush became the second member of the squad to lose her primary as County Prosecutor Wesley Bell beat her in a grueling and expensive race on Tuesday night. Pro-Israel groups spent massive amounts of money to depose Bush in the district where she pulled off an upset victory against a longtime incumbent Democrat back in 2020. The United Democracy Project, a super PAC of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, APEC, something like that, IPAC. I forget how that's said. I'm sorry. Spent $9.2 million against Bush, according to Ad Impact. That made the primary the second most expensive one of the year after UDP spent millions in opposition to fellow squad member Representative Jamal Bowman of New York. So glad to see that guy go. By contrast, Bush's campaign only spent $1.1 million, and the Justice Democrats, a group that supports left-wing candidates, spent only $2.5 million in the district. That includes St. Louis. The massive drive from pro-Israel groups appeared to pay off, with Bell declaring victory on Tuesday night with 51% of the vote to Bush's 46%. I am committed to serving the St. Louis region in Congress with integrity, transparency, and dedication, he said in a statement. Together, we will tackle the challenges ahead and build a community where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Bush, meanwhile, vowed that whether I'm a congresswoman or not, I am still taking care of my people. In a concession speech at her election watch party. I wonder who she's talking about. Bush is one a number of Democrats. One of. You messed up. Bush is one of a number of Democrats who have advocated for a ceasefire after Hamas launched a surprise attack in Israel on October 7th, killing 1,200 people and leading Israel to respond with a military campaign that has killed almost 40,000 people in Gaza. She and fellow Democrats boycotted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Can I stop right there for a second? I think it's more professional, more respectful. It makes you look better when you refer to him as Benjamin Netanyahu or Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu or Prime Minister Netanyahu. When I heard people calling him, and I've heard it on the left and the right, they called him BB. I think that's so classless. If that's your nickname for him, that's cool. If that's what he wants you to call him, cool. On the public stage, when you're in front of everybody, it irks me. It adds a level of just, it doesn't humanize the conversation or make you look cool. It seems very unprofessional to me. But that's just a side note. That's just me being me. You know, I'm weird. Anyways, so they were protesting Netanyahu's joint address to Congress last month. Bush also boycotted Israeli President Isaac Herzog's joint address to Congress prior to October 7th attack. But ads from the United Democracy Project did not mention Israel. Rather, the fact she voted against the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure bill, arguing she was an ineffective legislator, who regularly crossed President Joe Biden. I will agree with the ineffective. Bush did vote against the legislation on the premise that she feared that passing it first without Build Back Better, Democrats proposed a social spending bill that they hoped to pass along party lines, would cause the latter to die, which it did when Senator Joe Manchin, who later left the Democratic Party, announced his opposition. For her part, Bush advertised her support for abortion rights and worked with the Biden administration. Bush, like many of her fellow squad members, sought a more confrontational style of Democratic politics, calling herself a politivist. I think that would be the better way to say it. Not a polygamist. That's a different thing altogether. In 2021, when an eviction moratorium under the COVID-19 pandemic began, Bush led a sit-in at the Capitol steps, which led to the Biden administration to extend it until the Supreme Court killed it. A sit-in at the Capitol steps, it's almost like an insurrection, right? Is that not the same thing? Anyways, at the same time, Bush faced lingering questions about the fact she was under investigation by the Justice Department. Bush's defeat comes after fellow squad member Jamal Bowman lost his seat back in June in what marked the most expensive House primary race in history. Like Bush, Bowman was up against a candidate, George Lattimore, who received an unprecedented onslaught of money from pro-Israel groups. Other members of the squad have been able to survive their primaries. Representative Summer Lee knocked off a competitor in Pennsylvania earlier this year, while New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez handily disposed of primary challengers. Well, folks, it is a sad day for the squad. They have now lost 2 members of the squad. I'm sure there's technically more than these 6, but these seem to be the main members to me, and maybe Lee is one too. I don't know, but I do want to showcase those guys right now and give the proper send off to both Jamal Bowman, because we have not done that, as well as CORI Bush. So to these guys, I want to give a Morning Mayhem goodbye.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
From us at the Morning Mayhem, goodbye and good riddance.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.